Welcome back to Street NBA. We're talking good stuff here. We're talking good stuff here. We got good people. We got good show. We got a great topic. We're talking about the heart of an entrepreneur, and I have a lady here, listen, with the heart of a champion. Literally, this lady has competed on the D1 level. I just learned it was actually basketball, but I knew she was a D1 athlete. But listen, you don't get to be a D1 athlete by being regular, by just having talent alone. You gotta have some self-discipline. You gotta be willing to make some sacrifices. And apparently, this lady's willing to make lots of them because she's also a doctor. Hey, it takes years, literally years, and a lifetime of learning to be a doctor. So, I would like to welcome Dr. MANZI to the show. Welcome, Dr. MANZI. How are you doing this morning, Dr. MANZI?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
It's great to have you here on the show. So, Dr. MANZI, I would love to ask you, the very first question I like to ask everybody is, how did you even get into the medical field?
Well, when I was younger, I really loved going to my pediatrician because they would make me better. I thought that was really cool as a little kid, where I would go and, hey, I had a problem and they would fix it. So as I was in Division I basketball at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, I decided I wanted to pursue the sports world and medicine, but I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do, so I followed my team docs around and kind of found my interest there. Thought I was going to be doing orthopedic surgery, but then as I did more training and eventually got into medical school, I decided I wanted to do more of a functional type based specialty where I can help people regain their function and regain their quality of life.
So they can increase their quality of life. So let me ask you, so you mean to tell me that would you somewhat like Bobby Boucher when you first started out?
So I was basically in residency. What I had to,
when you said you followed your doctors,
I follow my
around and all that type of stuff.
Right, I followed my team docs around pain orthopedic surgery as well as family medicine.
Okay. So you actually it started all from in the midst of you being in competition. So you wanted to continue to be around the game, or you saw there was something specific in medicine that you wanted to get involved in because of your...
Well, I was on the sidelines a lot with injuries, and I was pressured as a Division I athlete to get back out there. So I wanted to figure out how to get myself back out there and potentially help other athletes in the future do the same. But then I realized not everybody's an athlete, and even just the weekend warriors that are out there when they have an ankle sprain or just any kind of setback, there's ways to get people back to do what they love and be functional.
Oh, wow. So again, of course, you weren't privy to our previous interview, but those people were people of passion. And that's how they got into the retail store that they are involved in now. It's just interesting to me what it takes for you to get into the business and move on to entrepreneurship. So how did you transition? Because of course you didn't start out running a pain clinic and having tell us a little bit about your clinic, what it does now, and where you were prior to having your own establishment.
Sure. Well, right now I own Performance Pain and Sports Medicine in Houston, Texas. Okay. And it's me and my partner, Dr. Matt Wiederholtz, and it's a 2-doctor show there where we make people better, get them functional from a pain management standpoint as well as a functional medicine standpoint.
So is it primary care also, or is it all
No, there's no primary care. We're physical medicine and rehab-based docs by training.
Okay.
And we both are board certified in that as well as pain medicine. He has a certification in sports medicine as well as functional, regenerative, and anti-aging medicine. And I have another certification in electrodiagnostic medicine, which is nerve study testing. I'm also in the process of becoming board certified in obesity medicine. Oh, wow. So it all fits together to treat people as a whole, to help them become more functional and pain-free, living their best life.
Okay.
Now,
so is nutrition involved in your practice at all? Well, you said obesity already.
obesity is the certification I'm currently getting. We haven't opened our obesity side of it yet, but we do practice functional medicine, which is treating the patient from a whole from the inside. We do lab work and we test their hormones and we make sure people are functioning right inside, so that way they're at a lower anti-inflammatory level, which helps reduce their pain as well.
I was watching a program recently where they were talking about in the past, when you talked about treating people, you treated the whole person. You know, you talked about their diet, you talked about and how Western medicine has gotten away from that, but now it's starting to work its way back to treating the whole person. Can you speak to that movement at all?
Absolutely. Dr. Wiederholtz and I are big proponents of this, and that's basically, from a functional medicine standpoint, you know, we see where everybody's lab values lie in the spectrum of whether they're normal or abnormal or just not optimized so patients feel well. Now, I try to explain to patients, we are what we eat. And over the past 15, 30 years, there's just been this trend in obesity, and we're trying to figure out, you know, how has that happened? But a lot of people now turn them to fast food, where that used to be not really an option, just on occasion. And now these days it seems to be patients and people's way of life. Like, hey, let's just stop at the fast food drive-through on the way to work, or stop by and get our coffee loaded with sugar and calories that we don't even realize. So again, I do try to impart this on patients, asking them what they eat, how they eat, asking them to keep food journals and things like that, because it all reflects through the patients how they feel.
So tell us, you chose to have your own practice. Why did you choose to have your own practice opposed to working in an orthopedic surgery department in a hospital or working under somebody else? Why did you choose to go into entrepreneurship?
You know, I've always been fascinated by the business side of medicine, and when I came out of...
You say the business side of medicine?
Right.
Okay, because listen, I'm very curious because as an insurance agent, I have learned over the years, I market to physicians all the time. That's really the most effective marketing that I've found in the individual insurance marketplace. My question to you, but my experience has been that most doctors, I'm willing to jump out on a limb and say 97% of them do not really grasp how insurance works, which is absolutely baffles my mind because
right.
You can tell me the percentage of the revenues that come into your practice that are from insurance. So can you tell me a bit about, because you talked about the business side of medicine. So when you say the business side of medicine, what do you mean?
Well, going back to the first question, I was employed by a hospital when I first came out, and I saw how things were done, and I didn't necessarily agree with them. I wanted patients to have a whole experience with what can be done to treat them, but with the red tape of administration and supervisors and things like that, I had to literally go up a tier to get things approved in order for me to help patients the way I felt was the right way to help them. So that was the most challenging part. So when I decided to come back to Houston, I joined an anesthesiologist and I worked in his office to build my base and build my business and clientele of patients. And I was in private practice there. I also held an academic appointment at UT, so I was able to teach residents and fellows and mentor medical students and things like that, which I enjoy doing. That way I can teach them, you know, a holistic kind of approach to pain medicine. But then I decided, okay, this might not be the best fit, and
What made you feel like it wasn't the best fit?
It was because I was with another doc, and he decided he wanted to join a larger group, okay. And I was trying to get away from the larger group. So,
can you tell us why?
Again, because of the lack of ability to do what I needed to do to treat my patients. I didn't want to have the constraints of the red tape of corporate business. So in order to not have those constraints on myself and my patients, I had to open my own shop. And so I teamed up with my partner, my current partner, Dr. Matt Wiederholtz, who was my chief resident in residency, and he decided to move back down to Houston, and we opened up performance pain and sports medicine. We both share the same philosophy in trying to treat patients from a holistic standpoint. We also have a passion for continuously training and advancing ourselves so we can offer patients the most cutting-edge technologies that are out there. Not every pain doc is cut out from the same cloth, and I feel like Dr. Wiederholtz and I are truly an entrepreneurial spirit where we can just continue to move forward, advance the field, and also give these treatments to our patients as they become available.
That's absolutely awesome. Listen, today, if you didn't hear the message, I don't know what you were listening to. Because every single person that we have talked to told you that their passion is what led them into entrepreneurship. It wasn't a specific product. It was not a way of doing things necessarily. It was all about wanting to serve the people. Did you really get that? Because we've been talking, I say every single episode that on Street MBA, we want you to take something from this that's not something that you can learn from a book. It's not something you can get in the classroom. We're hearing it right now from Dr. MANZI and Jonathan Crumbly that you gotta have passion.
It's all about the heart.
Love what you do. You gotta have a reason. You gotta have a problem that you're trying to solve. For Dr. MANZI, she felt restricted. She wanted to better serve her clients, and she couldn't do it in the infrastructure that she was in. So she had to create her own infrastructure. See, when you're willing to create your own infrastructure, then you're willing to grind it out when somebody's telling you that you can't get a license or you can't get a permit to open up this building. You're not going to just tuck your tail and go back to the corporate world when you have a passion for the people. No, you're going to figure out how to get those things done. So that's what I really, really, really want you to grasp. If you don't have a passion, if your only passion is to get a couple of more dollars, if that's all that you have, as a motivation, then guess what? You're not going to be motivated very long. Because the dollars don't come easy. Not when they come illegally. Listen, I've heard countless stories from people that they can tell you that in actuality, yeah, that old adage, crime doesn't pay. It doesn't. It doesn't, because eventually that runs out as well. And again, you don't really have a passion for what you're doing. Because I don't know if anyone has a passion that just wants to destroy people's lives and do crime, right? So if you have a passion for something, most likely it's springing out of a place, it's springing out of concern for somebody or something else that you want to accomplish or solve a problem for. So listen, you got it here on Street MBA. I need you to stay tuned. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us live on Wednesdays. You can watch us live on the Boxcast app, on the Roku platform. You just search for Now Media TV. I want you to stay tuned. I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay in contact with us and you can be part of the conversation that we're having around entrepreneurship. We want to continue to have these conversations. We want you to continue to stay tuned. You're watching Street MBA.